Well, so anyhow, I figured I should jump up here and have a little bit of conversation. That's right. So what's up, VVS? Yeah, whether you're here seeing this now, I really don't care. Whether you're not, you know, when I first saw VVS, I liked some of what he was talking about. I thought for a young man, he was pretty intelligent. Don't know him, but that was my first thought for him. Then he was up on Steve Hoker's live stream, and I listened to VVS there. Yeah, he seemed to be pretty intelligent. The only thing I saw that I didn't say much of because it's not his fault, you got to consider VVS is what, 20 years old, maybe 21 now. It's all the older he is, you know. And so he's stuck on sex. Well, how would he not be stuck on sex? He grew up in a very sexualized society. Okay, so of course he's stuck on sex. But I didn't fault him for that. I've never called him names. Matter of fact, I went over to one of VVS live streams and I left some comments in his live stream attempting to talk to him. This is when I knew that VVS didn't like me because he answered other people and ignored me like I was the plague. So I thought, well, that's typical for today's society. You hate people you don't even know. You dislike people you don't know, they've never done nothing to you. Even if they liked your work, you don't give a shit. That's really what that comes down to. So, anyhow, I let it go. I don't watch his live streams or anything he has to say anymore because of that. I wasn't going to attack him. But now, it appears that VVS, well, in today's society, to not see what is so in your face is only, what can I say, the product of complete brainwashing and never looking into a thing for your own self and not even using a brain cell to do so. But it appears that VVS is now hurling insults towards Steve Hoke and myself. And we are conspiracy theorists. We are nut jobs. And how dare us talk about Monday, which stands for Moon Day, which stands for Goddess. How dare us call out an agent for being an agent? Because he's sitting there in the driver's seat, steering the narrative for young guys, and VVS is unable to see it because he's sound asleep. He's like another guy that talks about TFL, who is a sound asleep. Well, hello there. Okay, I mean, I do see I got a couple, three people in here, and I appreciate that. But I'm talking a little bit about to VVS right now because I've never, ever, ever attacked this guy, and I've never said anything negative towards him outside of the fact that he completely blew me off in a live stream. I left him alone. But unfortunately, VVS doesn't see fit to leave us alone, even if we leave him alone. He wants to stand right there alongside the agent that's steering the narrative for young men and sending them down the rabbit hole. This is what Forever Alone Monday will do for you, VVS, and for all of you people who follow him. He will convince you how it's your fault. And that somehow, as a child, you were mentally screwed up and it's your fault. Because women don't make mistakes. Women are honest, they're angels. Yep, their halo, of course, is held up by the horns of evil, Satan. Okay? But You can't see that, right? He gave you a whole list of countries that seem to have the same problem that we do here in America. He sure did. But don't worry, there's no such thing as NWO because we're a conspiracy theorist. This is just normal behavior throughout the world. It's always been this way. Really? For real. So let me see. A 20-year-old man, maybe 21 now at the oldest, who absolutely does not have no life experience. I don't even go there and tell me you do. I'm old enough to be your damn grandpa. You have no life experience. You have no common sense. And you don't use even one brain cell to think with. You are after popularity and saying what people want to hear, and that's all you're after. So now, here you are hurling insults at me who've never hurled insults at you. You know what, VVS? I know a young man from the United Kingdom who's 20 years old, 21 years old, take that back. He's your age bracket, he sure is, who has more intelligence in his pinky finger than you do in your entire body. Now, you may get mad and say, oh, that's just blah, 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 blah. But that's what I would hear out your mouth is blah, 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 blah. Because you're the one who's hurling the insults at me and Steve Oken, not the other way around. You're the one saying we're tinfoil wearing hat nut jobs when it couldn't be more an open in your face. If you can't see it with all the evidence that's staring you in the face, there is no fixing stupid. That's what I have to say about that. There's absolutely no fixing stupid. And obviously, VVS, at first I thought maybe you were a pretty intelligent young man. But you recently have shown me that you are pretty stupid. That you are actually pretty damn dumb. They got you right where they want you. Now I hear that maybe you had some censorship. Well, come on. You know your government would never censor you. Why would YouTube censor you? Because after all, you have your First Amendment, right? You have a right to your freedom of speech and your opinion, right, VVS? Really? So is that why you got censored? Because that's part of your right to your First Amendment. Because we always censor your First Amendment. Now, you see how ridiculous that sounds? But hey, I'm only going with what I've heard that VVS got censored by notorious YouTube, Google. And I'm just thinking about how VVS is hurling insults, calling us conspiracy theorists, tinfoil wearing hats, when all the evidence is in his face, but he turns his head and looks the other way. Okay? And since you're the one that started this, I'm just over here helping you out. So I don't know why they would censor somebody like you. Because obviously you got free speech. Because your government's on your side. And you have your First Amendment. That's right. Oh, that's right. Being censored and shut up means that your First Amendment is being honored. Okay, now I'm through being a smartass, but I just had to get that little chip off my shoulders that VVS placed there for me. Yeah. I am in a mode where people can call in, but only the people who have my information. You know, I just got off the phone with Warren before I come up live. And Warren had called me up and was telling me that yesterday's video or whatever by VVS he was attacking me, and I was a conspiracy theorist, a tinfoil wearing nut job, and how dare me call out Blue Skies Media or Forever Alone Monday. But I've already retracted what I said about Blue Skies, but I didn't retract the red flags. I said he threw up red flags, is what I always said. I didn't say he was. But when you don't listen to somebody's words and you play selective hearing, that's right. You play selective hearing and only hear what you want to hear and disregard the rest, then you wind up walking around with your foot hanging out of your mouth. Yep. So VVS yesterday, I guess, had his foot dangling out of his mouth. It really don't surprise me, and it's just disappointing. It's very sad. I actually thought the guy had more intelligence than he actually has. I gave you credit for, I don't know why, because you've proven me wrong. You've actually proven me that you're like most people your age. I don't blame you. Okay, I mean, come on. You didn't grow up in the society I grew up in. You didn't grow up in the world that Dave grew up in. That's right. You didn't even grow up in the world Warren grew up in. Okay, you definitely didn't grow up in the world I grew in. But yet I'm in the same country, same world you are. I guess you just think it's all normal behavior, huh? That this is supposed to be happening. That if you're an undesirable man, that you're going to die alone. That this is just normal behavior, huh? I guess you just think the division between men and women has always been this way from the beginning of time, huh? You know, what is it, Elvis Huxley, who came up in the 50s and subscribed and told everybody exactly what the world was going to be in today's time, and everything he said materialized right in your face. He was just a great psychic. No, he wasn't. He was given the knowledge by the powers to be to what their plans was and what they were shooting for, and by that certain date, this is what the world was going to be like. And then when that date got along, bam, the world was just like that. That's called social engineering, by the way. That's called an agenda. That's called a long, drawn-out plan being carried out. No, he just wasn't no psychic. Just like the retired KGB agent over in Russia, what, 40 years ago so, in around the same time frame, did an interview after he was retired and said what it was going to be like in America. And he said, 30, 40 years out, this is what was going to be happening, this is what was going to be going on. And 30, 40 years later, that's exactly what was happening. That's exactly what's going on. No, it was no psychic ability. It's no different than stuff I saw through research that I called out just by the research I saw and said this was going to happen. And then 2 years later, it happened. At the time, everybody called me nuts. Then when it happened, all I heard was crickets. I heard Johnny Cricket, Johnny Cricket, Johnny Cricket, because you couldn't come back and call me nuts no more because it just happened. But before it happened, I was a nut job. So now I'm a nut job again by a 20-year-old who has no life experience, that hasn't looked into a damn thing, when many, many high-figure people have openly told you in your face. They don't hide this stuff anymore. They have literally told you it, and you're still turning your back and looking the other way and calling the people who actually see it going on nuts. So you're complicit with the crash of your society. So you're complicit with what's going on. So what are you? I guess you're just a whiner and a bitcher. This is what I would say. VVS has now graduated to just a whiner and a bitcher. He wants to whine and bitch and complain about what he's living and the problems he sees. And whine and bitch and complain. And whine and bitch and complain. And whine and bitch and complain. That's all he's here for. He won't take his time to look and see, why is this happening? Oh, no, 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 no. You got to fit in. You couldn't take your time to look and see, could you? Yes, Dave is correct. Matter of fact, they even told you it in the 50s. See, people with the knowledge was telling you this stuff years before it took place. You know, and it doesn't do them any good to come up and tell you because you all ignored it. And see, VVS wouldn't know this because that was long before his time. And no, they were not psychics. They just didn't happen to be a psychic with this great ability to read the future. No, they wasn't. They were in a position where they were given the knowledge by the people actually doing it. Yeah, that's right. I like to call them the powers to be. You can call them whatever name you want. Some people want to call them Illuminati. That's right. I mean, the cabal. There's many different names you can use. I just like to say the powers to be. That handful of people at the top that are actually running the world. You know, when George Carlin came up and he was a comedian and he cracked all of his jokes, okay? Cracked all of his jokes and told you the truth, you all laughed at the truth. It was so funny. George Carlin didn't think it was funny. He actually had the knowledge. And he used it in his comedian show to tell the world. And you just all laughed it off because it was such a joke. Yep, and Dave, once again, I remember Paul Harvey. I used to listen to Paul Harvey all the time. I know exactly who Dave's talking about. Okay, so, you know, and Dave's right. Paul Harvey, radio broadcasting. I remember listening to Paul Harvey on the radio, driving down the road, going to work, going here. Or I'd have him on in my house listening to the radio while I was doing shit around the house. I can remember them days, and that's been a long time ago. But I remember them days. It's just sad, you know, because you can strive so hard to bring the manosphere together. And all I told you, I thought that you didn't see me being successful. Because you're all too divided, too stupid, too dumb. Can't fix stupid. You know, just think about it. Here's the mentality of a guy that's 20 years old with absolutely no life experience who thinks he's 20 going on 50 and thinks has convinced himself that he has all of this knowledge that he don't have. And so here he is in a time where what I've talked about is so in your face, throwing out, I'm a conspiracy theorist, hurling that out his mouth while his foot's dangling out of his mouth with stupidity and dumbness. Because he hasn't looked and he's so young. You know, I was impressed by a certain man. I like to call him Jay. He lives in the United Kingdom. He impressed me for good reason. See, he's VVS's age bracket. And he's aware of what's really going on in the world. And he sees it with his own eyes. He's actually looked into stuff and sees it with his own eyes. And he's not a conspiracy wearing tinfoil hat nut job. He's living the same life the rest of us are, and he sees and understands what I'm talking about. This is why I hurled the insult at you that that young man has more knowledge in his little pinky than you do in your entire body right now. Because you're not willing to look and you're only willing to hurl insults. And you're mad at me for calling out an agent Monday. I didn't call out Blue Skies Media. I said what the red flags was and what a possibility was, and that I was hoping to be wrong. And the more I watched it, the more I realized that, oh, Blue Skies Media is TFL for sure. And I think Blue Skies Media, like VVS, is being led and steered by an agent. Right on down the rabbit hole to blame themselves. So, Dave, if you're still here, do you see now that it's still your fault, Dave? I just would like to see Dave leave a comment if it's his own fault that he can't get a woman in his life. Because this is where Monday's leading you. Thank you, Dave. See, Dave knows as well as I do. It's not Dave's fault. It's not because of Dave's childhood. This is where Monday's leading you. Back to the original narrative that social engineering wanted was for men to blame themselves. So you follow that agent till you're blue in the face. Maybe one day you'll wake up, or maybe you end up offing yourself. And I really don't want to see that happen. But you know, people like VVS has a lot of growing up to do yet. I can't give you the compliment of thinking you are a pretty intelligent young man that I thought of at one time. Because you've proven me wrong with your own mouth. Now all I can do is hope that you'll reach around the backside, grab yourself by the back of your hair, and pull your head out of your you know what. Because that is where you have placed your head. And there's so many men, young men in the manosphere, that are sound asleep to the stuff I talk about. And I have tried everything I know to point this out to you for years now. But I can't help the stupid or the dumb. I can lead the horse to the water, but I can't make him drink it. So you go ahead and follow your agent, man. He don't mind steering you down the rabbit hole. And he will steer you down the rabbit hole. And you will be blaming yourself. And you will be trying to fix yourself with no success when it was never your fault. You know, for people like VVS, he's at the hardest time of life. And I think Dave would agree with this. You know, you're 20, 21 years old. You're young. 19, 18, 20, 21 years old. 17. This is when your hormones are running wild. This is when you are really chasing your opposite gender. And this is when the blow hits the hardest. And this is the hardest part of your life right here. You're either going to get strong or you're going to lose. And you're only going to get through strength through knowledge. And it's still not going to be easy. But you're going to, you're only going to get strength through knowledge. And if VVS wants to keep speaking out, he's lacking knowledge. Lots of knowledge. And people have been trying to point this out and show this to you. I've done this man no wrong. I've never hurled no insults or anything of this man until today, when I'm addressing him. and his attack on me and his attack on Steve Hoka. I would never have made a live stream or video or anything calling you out. I left you alone. When you showed me you disliked me without knowing me, see, that's because I wasn't born yesterday. Because I'm old enough to be your damn grandpa. I left your channel. So who we got here, Dave?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, I just thought I'd join you for a few minutes. I got about maybe 10 or 15 minutes to do a little talking here, and I just got to head out the door.
Hey,
But I've just
cool.
been kind of listening about how you're saying talking about it's not your fault or anything like that. People that are live in TFL.
No, well, that's
But you
just
definitely
it, It's not. That's why I trust you. You were here. And I knew you already know. I mean, you're what, 38, 39 years old or 48, 49?
I just turned 49. Yes,
There you
sir.
are, 49, not 30, 40. See, so, you got some years behind you. And you know as well as I do that it's actually not men's fault.
Right.
And what do you see yourself when you listen to Monday?
Yeah, I just see a guy that's just trying to steer, like you said, trying to steer you right down the rabbit hole. He's giving you every answer but the right answer.
Yeah.
But I don't really listen. I watched a couple of his videos, and and I just I just wasn't really impressed by him. He's just a professional. He's just a professional radio broadcaster. That's what he sounds like to me anyway. It just sounds like he's there for he's just collecting a paycheck. That's about it.
Well, that's really what it is. He's collecting a paycheck, and his focus target would be the young men. And he's basically sitting there in the driver's seat. But do you think it's an accident that he just showed up online and started speaking about Forever Alone and INCEL guys and the manosphere and the dating scene topics that I've been doing for years? And this guy just shows up out of the blue. And
Yeah, he's a plant.
yeah. And what he's really doing is his whole focus, his job, what they're paying him to do, is to keep the problem alive. And so he's coming in here and he's steering the manosphere right on down the rabbit hole to blaming yourself again. And that's what he's doing. And these young men with no life experience are actually falling for it. And it's sad.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's and like getting back to the no fault thing. I mean, I did everything, and I'm sure millions of other people, millions of other men that are going through this, did everything that they were taught to do. And here they are all these years later. They can't get they can't get anybody.
Yeah.
I remember going through school. I mean, I was actually pretty productive kid. I was actually very athletic. I was actually a hell of an athlete. I was actually an all-state in track and field and cross country distance running. I'm not trying to sound like a Steve Hoka knockoff or anything like that, but problem was I was very good at a sport where there was no glory, and all the glory was going to the football players, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, but with that said, I mean, you do all these things, and but they'll just use anything against you, in everything that they're taught. So yeah, there's not much you can do.
No, there isn't. It's this is why I brought up, even like when I was on the phone with Warren, he brought up Elvis Huxley. Warren was so correct. I mean, this guy was telling you stuff that was going to happen in the 50s. And everything he said materialized and happened.
Right.
And people don't understand, Dave comes from a different generation than today's young youth, 20-year-old, 21, 25-year-old. I come from a different generation. And no, the world has not always been this way. No, men and women have not been divided this way through all of history.
Right.
There's
no, there definitely just been yeah, they're just definitely taking it from one extreme to the next, you know, with this, with the way that they've been doing this,
You know,
you
and
know.
it's sad because, you know, and like I said, with VVS, I never ever attacked the guy ever. And here the guy is over there hurling insults at Steve Hoke and myself. And even now, again, yesterday, I guess he done another video where he brought my name up again. I'm just a complete nut job, Dave. I'm a
Right.
tinfoil wearing hat conspiracy theorist, and I have no right calling out Monday because I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a nut job.
Yeah, you know, I left a comment in the comment section there about you know, about Paul Harvey's radio broadcast "If I Were the Devil." You know, anybody, it's on YouTube. If anybody wants to listen to it, it's just a quick 4 or 5 minute long video. But there's more information in that 4 or 5 minutes than I know of anywhere. I mean, so anybody that wants to listen to it, you know, it's there on YouTube. You know, and it's yeah, it's pretty interesting thing to listen to.
Well, I think, you know, it's sad. I just wish more of these young guys would actually listen to the stuff I'm telling them and realize that I'm
Right.
not up here bullshitting them or lying to them. And, you know, when the use the words conspiracy theorist to NWO and the stuff I'm talking about this far into NWO, this far in, when all of these major leaders on your TV set have been telling you it right in your face. They're openly telling you it, and you're still
Yep.
not listening. You're still
Yep.
not listening.
Yeah. Henry Kissinger, George Soros, George Bush, Clinton's, Obama,
Yeah,
you know, Joe Biden. Yeah, yeah, the whole crew.
they have
Yeah.
all openly told you it right in your face. Okay, and it's so blatantly in people's face. And so to hurl them insults only says this person is literally not paying attention to anything that's going on around them.
Right. Even you can even go back to JFK, John F. Kennedy, when he started exposing them. Of course, that, you know, we all know what ended up happening to him right after he exposed them.
Yeah.
You know, but that was in the early 1960s. So yeah, I mean, this goes back a few generations.
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know, and people, this is no accident, you know. The world wasn't always this way. You didn't have division on the genders to the level it is today. It was not always this way. At one time, 90% of men had somebody in their life. That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
At one time, 90% of men, all men, had somebody in their life and they didn't struggle to get somebody in their life. And now we
Yep.
have 85, 90% of the men that can't even get anybody in their life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, your average guy pretty much had no problem back in the day finding a wife. I mean, it was if he had a job at the local, you know, at just the local foundry or something like that, and just you know, that's pretty much all you needed. And you know, you would just had a you would, you know, you had a you didn't have to be super good looking or anything like that, just average looking, and yeah, you weren't going to have that much of a problem. But now it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, it is. That's why you keep seeing me leave this up here. Just look at everyone. Everything, okay? It's backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice, okay? Psychiatrists destroy minds. Scientists destroy truth. Major media destroys information. Religions destroy spirituality. And governments destroy freedom. I leave that up here and use that over and over because that is the honest truth in your face.
Yep. Yeah, most sure is.
You know, and I don't know. I mean, I get frustrated, Dave, because I try so hard to help these young men, and these young men are so oblivious to what's going on. And but well, you know, how do you actually blame them? Let's think about VVS. 20, 21 years old. His whole life, all he's known is a computer and the day's technology and all the lies.
Right. And you know, being at the age where, you know, how old is he? 20, 21?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's also at the age where, you know, your hormones and your testosterone, everything's kind of kicking in a high gear there. I mean, that back at that age when I was, those years, those were, those were pretty tough times for me too. But yeah, I mean, you just got to educate yourself and think outside the box. Eventually, I think he'll probably.
That's it, Dave. It comes with
Yeah.
educating your own self. You cannot count on others to educate you because you can't tell me, well, I went to school and I graduated, I'm educated. No, you was only
Mm-hmm.
taught what you're allowed to know. This
Yep.
world,
Ain't that the truth?
I'm gonna say something my dad told me a long time ago, long before he died, okay? That this world is nothing but a gigantic school. There's always something to be learned your entire life, and you will never ever be able to learn everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is the absolute truth. So, because you think I'm 20 years old and I graduated school, I'm educated. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a long, long, long ways from being educated.
Yeah.
And you
Just
have
getting
to,
started in life.
yeah,
That's all it is.
you have to take it on to your own self to sit back, keep mouth shut, and educate yourself and look around and see what's really going on and pay attention. If you would do that, you would clearly see the stuff I've been telling people is absolutely true. No, it's not. That's why I'll say it again. At one time in our society, 90% of men had somebody in their life, did not have trouble getting a woman. You only had a small number of 10% that was unable. Okay? Now it's almost completely flipped, completely upside down on its head.
Right. I mean, I'd like to think myself. I mean, I would have probably been one of those guys that would have gotten somebody pretty easily because I think I'm a pretty well accomplished person. I have a respectable job and everything, and you know, and what I've done with myself, kind of staying being single all my life and having no kids. That's kind of helped me get to the position where I am. But yeah, it just feels like nothing's ever good enough.
No, and
You
these
know.
young men are going to keep listening to people like Monday, and you're going to see the suicide rate go up because they're going to discover it doesn't matter how much they try to change themselves. It was never them to begin with. I mean, how
Yep.
stupid was that, Dave, when you heard Monday tell people, tell young men that if you was born premature, that if you were born premature, that you were most likely going to be an incel when you grew up because you was premature as a baby.
Yeah, that's just more beating around the bush. He's just giving you, like I said, he's just giving you every answer but the correct answer.
Yeah.
Coming up with all these different excuses, and it's if you're living TFL like this, so there's no people saying you got to change yourself, and it's your attitude, your person, whatever, but no, there's no magic, there's no Jedi mind tricks you can do that's going to change,
Hello?
Well, hello,
change
Warren.
anybody's mind.
We have Warren.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, Warren.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I would have gotten here sooner, man, but I had to take care of. I got sick with MRSA, so now I got to go ahead and get out before it gets bad. I mean,
Well, I hope it gets better.
So no, I had to soak my feet. Well, I got it early enough that I could probably get rid of it, man. So that's good. I mean.
Yeah, Warren, you'll get rid of it. Be confident you will.
All right. Hey, Bill, I got to run out of here, okay? Because I got to head out the door. But I'll let you and Warren just take it away, all right?
No, that's fine, Dave.
Right.
Thank you, Dave, and
okay.
Hello, Warren. I know this.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I know there's some people in here that's going to want to hear from you. I was talking about Monday, Forever Alone Monday, and I did already address VVS and how Monday, Forever Alone Monday is literally sitting in the driver's seat steering young men right down the rabbit hole.
That's what I'm thinking is happening too, man. With a lot of these people, you got to bear in mind, a lot of these people too are they're not even really awake to begin with. I mean, there might be. I mean, there are people that here's the issue when it comes to this, right? There's two halves to this puzzle that people ain't catching right now, from where I'm standing. Okay, there's two halves. There's the conspiracy side of things, which we got that, and most of those people, about half of them are, just total white knight manjons and all that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your manosphere, which are a bunch of fake-headed coincidence theorists. And well, here's the thing, man. The whole basis of the black pill is pretty much, I mean, going beyond Dayton is pretty much about dominance hierarchies and things like that. How does that not apply to government? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course it applies to government.
I mean,
Warren, I tried to send people over just to listen to Mark Passio, only for the reason that Mark Passio, even though I know the guy's an agent, okay, he's telling you truth, okay? And he's the only agent I know of that ever brought up the dating scene.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I mean, it's ironic that because here it is, more and more people are living it, more and more people are coming forward with it. It's still a taboo subject, but it's not as taboo as I mean, in some respects. Like when you get more people who are living it, they know they're not going to keep a lid on it as much as they did because more people are going to be speaking out.
Yeah.
See, the masses are delusional with that. The masses think that as they continue to push more and more men out, even though the people are already seething and raging as it is, they're going to continue to push more and more men out, and then somehow all those men are just going to magically just shut up.
Yeah, well, that's just it. The thing is, people need to be speaking out. I had nothing against VVS speaking out. Like I said, I actually thought the guy was pretty intelligent for being as young as he was. But then he just proved me wrong and made me sad because
I don't understand these people. I don't understand these people that they go out and they complain about our liberal media and communism and all this stuff, right? And all planks of communism are already in place, right?
Exactly.
But yet they sit here and be like, oh, but there are no conspiracies. Well, I'm pretty sure a communist coup is considered a conspiracy by definition.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you look up the word cool, even the communist cool, you'll find out throughout history that they've infiltrated governments and changed leadership in other countries using this very thing. But you're gonna say, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. Well, let's see. One, is not something considered a conspiracy when two or more plan something?
Yeah.
See, this is what a conspiracy is when two people or more plan something. So
they plan to do something clandestine, like something nefarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill, that's like saying if you and I got together and we launched a plan to rob a bank, we were conspiring to rob that bank.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. I mean, everyday citizens are caught up on charges of conspiracy every day, and these aren't people even with any political power or clout or money, or these are just average everyday fucking people. Okay. So let me get this right. Everyday citizens can be brought up and charged for conspiracies, but somehow our government, who has a lot more power to be corrupted on, a lot more wealth to be corrupted on, okay, somehow they're magically immune from conspiring. They would never conspire. So what are you telling me? You telling me that they're better than us?
Well, yeah.
You telling me that these low liars and thieves are somehow morally better than us?
Yeah, and let's see,
Warren.
Know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go one step further, Warren. What do you think about our wars? Do you think our wars was created by the people or by governments?
The wars?
Yeah.
The wars were created by the government. I mean, here's the thing: wars would happen to some degree naturally, anyways. But of course, the government's going to be there to exploit it. A lot of times, they pick the wars. They instigate the wars. They direct it.
They sure do. They actually they'll start a war. to go steal resources.
Yeah.
But yet you can't. But wouldn't that be a conspiracy there, Warren? Because I don't know of a government that's less than 2 people. Do you?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, yeah, exactly, man. I don't understand that, right? Like,
yes,
so you mean to tell me the exact same problems with all this liberal social justice warrior shit are going on simultaneously on pretty much every westernized country on the planet at the same fucking time? Okay, with the exact same problem, and everybody's speaking out about it all over the world, all over these westernized countries. What are the astronomical odds that the exact same scenario is going to be happening in all these places at the exact same fucking time? Much less there's also occurring amongst a bunch of nations who are all chummy and buddy-buddy with each other and who are all in the same fucking clique.
That's it.
Think about that, man.
Hey, I like this. I like this because, see, even though I've said all this stuff, I like to hear Warren saying it because you can't keep coming back and saying, well, it's only you saying it, Bill. And, you know, and when Warren's telling you it, maybe you'll listen to him or you won't listen to me. And if you don't listen to either one of us, guess what? I don't think Warren and I really care if you listen to us, because if you're not smart enough to go look into something yourself and judge it for yourself, then I don't think we can help you anyhow.
And that's what I don't understand, man. Like a famous comedian, if he's suave and got enough character and is popular enough, like George Carlin, say, for example, okay? George Carlin could come up here and he could talk about, you know, well, let me tell you who really wants where you are. You think you have a choice, you don't. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that whole speech on stand-up. And everybody gives her like a pump in her fist, like, yeah, stick it to him, man, yeah. And these same people that you and I got up and said the exact same thing. They call us conspiracy theorists.
Yep.
Because we're not famous celebrities. We're not famous comedians.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Oh, because you're not famous and you're not on TV. Yeah. So therefore, you must be a nut job. Yeah. Okay. I don't got to look for myself because I'm 20 years old and I know everything about life.
Yeah, you know. I mean, you can only be lied to so many goddamn times, man. I mean, look, and this is something people got to understand here, right? Okay, Aldous Huxley, right, was the brother of Julian Huxley. Julian Huxley wrote Brave New World. Aldous Huxley was the head of the Eugenics Society. Okay?
Yes.
Now, bear this in mind. He was the head of the Eugenics Society, and it was an open Fabian socialist. Okay? This was the brother of the guy that wrote Brave New World. Now, you sit there and stew on that for a little bit and think about how did he know all these things? Because everything that's happening in that story, Brave New World, is coming around us now. You see the transhumanism, you see all that shit, bro. The you know, about crap the alphas and betas and deltas. People are even making up alphabet soup labels that don't even have any biological basis anymore. I mean, just because they get so carried away with throwing labels around, you know. I mean, I can understand, like, from a sociological point, maybe as far as breaking things down, like alphas, betas, and maybe omegas. But I mean, they start throwing like in epsilon and delta and zeta and all these other fucking made up bullshit, bro. I mean,
hey, that's it. You know, Warren, what you just witnessed or talked about, right? In the Brave New World.
Yeah.
He was just this amazing psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't have been on a need to know basis with the elite, would he?
Yeah, I know, right?
You know,
I mean,
how do people fall for this crap? I mean, I'm sorry. These people have been telling you stuff. I mean, even somebody I don't even like to bring up, I'm going to bring up, called David Icke. Yes, the guy's an agent, but he's been telling you stuff for 30 freaking years.
Well, Bill, okay, let's think about this here for a moment. The whole survival of the fittest scenario, right, came from Charles Galton Darwin, right?
Yes.
Who was also the father of the eugenics movement. All this goes back to eugenics. Isn't that funny?
I know, isn't that,
You got these bozos out here now that are dumb enough to goddamn think they're talking about positive eugenics. Yeah, you know what? The Nazis thought what they were doing was positive too.
Yeah, so Warren, just so that you can reach some people more, why don't you tell them what eugenics is?
Well, eugenics is basically slave breeding. They'll tell us from their perspective, what you'll hear people say is that they're trying to breed the most efficient or the most superior genes possible in society, but it doesn't work out that way. Number one, because you end up with an inbreeding program, and once it gets into harems anyways. Yeah, I mean, number two, I mean, anytime, the whole concept of breeding more fit people, it's kind of like communism. It's something that sounds good on paper, but doesn't work in reality, man, because here's the thing. You got to trust that the government, see, people are very dumb in large numbers, and what they're passing off as genetically superior are actually being dumbed down more. They're being made weaker. So what we're actually getting is dysgenics. So anytime, they talk about positive eugenics, you can't have eugenics in this world. What you get is dysgenics. It calls itself eugenics. Eugenics, if it was possible, right, could actually be a good thing, but it's not possible. It's like communism. It doesn't work in application. What you get is dysgenics.
No, and and it never will. I want Warren to break that down for you, because now you can go back to school and you can think about years ago, did they not teach the gene pool and natural selection?
And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, right? What you're doing is what they're doing is they're chopping out genetic traits out of the gene pool, right? For species to evolve, to advance, it has to be able to collect from a pool of traits that could become useful in the advancement of the species down the line, right?
Yes.
But if you breed all those characteristics and traits out of the fucking gene pool, now there's less of a pool to choose from. So now eventually everybody's gonna become dumber and dumber and dumber, and it's gonna be like a mannequin factory. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It is, and this is what we're actually witnessing going on. And for anybody that says no, we're not witnessing it, then I want you to please explain to me how come we could have 50-something genders. Please explain to me how it's even possible to have 50-something genders. I mean, so unless,
and I'll guarantee you, these bozos will come up with some half-ass cockamamie goddamn explanation full of like a bunch of 12-syllable words that talk suckers around nothing at all and make you feel stupid.
Well, yeah.
But in reality, they're the dumb ones.
Well, but they'll come up with this. They would be like Smiling Skeptic. They will come up and use these big fancy words that mean absolutely nothing, because what they're really doing is they're oblivious to what's really going on, and they don't want to believe what's going on. And maybe we're taking them out of their comfortable zone, Warren.
Bertrand Russell spoke about this, and I believe it was the Scientific Outlook. He talked about how they could convince people that the snow was black or some shit like that. I mean, and you're talking about the scientific indoctrination society we're going to. That's what it is, a scientific indoctrination. Actually, people are becoming slaves to science. Science is the new religion. See, I mean, they always give you a religion for every age. We've been through several ages, and age is like 2,160 years. And see, we always live in a planned society, and we've been through several ages already. So now they always give you a religion, and for the age we're moving out of, the dominant religion for that age was Christianity. Well, now that's being phased out. Now the new religion is science.
Yes. And science is just what it is. It's destroying, okay? Science destroys truth. And that's what they're really doing. You think these these are scientists and they've done their research. No. These are paid puppets.
Yeah. Or even if, of course they're paid, but I mean, Here it is. I mean, a lot of these people, man. Here's how it works in there, right? People want to say, oh, these peer reviews and they're all so objective. No, they're not objective. Because I'm going to tell you why they're not objective. Their reputation and their career is on the fucking line. If they step out of lockstep, man, they get their funding cut.
Yep, exactly. If they step out of line, their funding will be cut. It's like becoming a reportive journalist or investigative journalist, okay, anymore in today's society. You go to some political meeting or political this or whatever, and they make it plain and clear. You're only allowed to report this, and they will tell you what to report. If you report what you're really seeing, well, you're going to go to prison, and you ain't going to have a job, or we're going to take your credentials from you.
You know, it's like you don't even have to look that far. Like every president we've had ever since, at least since Bush Sr., has openly given you a speech about the New World Order. Fucking Aldous Huxley, back in the 50s, went into detail about the scientific dictatorship and everything's coming into place now. He told you that 50, 60 some years ago in an interview.
Exactly. You know, and they tell you this stuff this long ago, and so as we were talking on the phone, when you take guys like VVS, who's 21 years old, how would he know anything about this if he didn't look? Because they sure didn't teach him in school, did they?
No, because this young generation has been a lot more heavily indoctrinated, man. Back in my generation in the 80s, there was almost kind of a youthful rebellious streak among young people coming up where they all wanted to question things. They wanted to go against the grain. That's not as much there anymore. What is there is being very obviously subverted into controlled opposition. I mean, not that, of course, the counterculture was controlled opposition itself, but that's another discussion. But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, this young generation, it doesn't have a defiant bone in its body, bro. I mean, they're emasculated all to hell. They're fucking neutered. I mean, you can put the truth right in front of their face and they're just going to deny it. I mean,
Well, that's it. And then they deny it when, that's what that KBG agent said in his interview about 40 years ago. He said you could take a semi loaded with factual documented proof, including video, and they would still deny it. And they would say, you got to have more. You got to have more. No, you got all the proof you ever needed, and you disregarded it. Then you wonder why.
When the damn politicians and the powerful people involved in the UN that are openly behind it openly tell you what they're fucking doing, that's all the proof you need.
And they do.
Why would they lie about that? Why would they make up a lie about themselves that would incriminate them? That'd be like, Bill. I'm gonna confess to a murder which I had nothing to do with.
Yep, that would be a good example, Warren. And here's another thing for you. What do you think? It's just an accident or a coincidence that president after president after president, the same agenda keeps carrying on, and the president, when he's running, will sit there and tell you, if you elect me, let's pull on Obama. If you put me in office, I'm going to end the war. I'm going to do this and this and this for you, and this for you. And then they get in office, and what's the first thing Obama did? He extended the war.
Yeah, and when he extended it, it's funny. The same liberals were screaming against the Bush people a few years prior for this war, were all of a sudden using the same excuse against the Bush people now that the Bush people used against them back when Bush was in power when it comes to this war. It's funny, because the Republicans were all for the war as long as the Republican was in office, and against it when a Democrat was in office. The Democrats were all for the war when a Democrat was in office, and against it when a Republican was in office.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about how stupid that is. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I mean, I don't care what they're saying or what they're doing. I care what label they have behind their name. Well, they have a D or an R in front of their name. See, people don't listen to what you got to say. They listen to who's talking, man. That's how stupid people are. They can't wrap their mind around the concept that truth is truth, regardless of the biggest dumbass in the fucking world says it. It's still the fucking truth. And fucking bullshit is bullshit. It don't matter if it comes out of the movement. It don't matter if it comes out of the mouth of the saintliest motherfucking person you've ever seen in your life. If they say something is not true, it's not true. That's it. You know, it has nothing to do with who the fuck comes out of.
Yeah.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
You know, but it's just so in people's faces, and then they just.
Man.
The only thing that really shows, Warren, is that people are not paying attention. They're literally not paying attention. You know, and you have nobody to blame when you don't pay attention to something and then something bad happens when all the signs were right there. You know, if Warren and I were up on a high skyscraper building and the 40th floor was on fire and it was an 80-story building, and we had time and we told everybody on the upper floors to get out of the building, it's on fire. And then Warren and I get out before it's too late. Then all of you people say to Warren and I, oh, don't listen to them, they're tinfoil wearing nut jobs. Well, then when you all die in that fire, do you think Warren and I are really going to feel bad for you? When you had your opportunity to get out?
It's not even that. It makes it worse than that, Bill. I mean, you know, not only are they willfully ignorant, that's fine, but they want to be willfully ignorant, be willfully ignorant. But we live in a society where they want to pretend that's completely normal, you know, to shit all over everybody and turn everything into a hyper competition to one up somebody and to fuck everybody over. And everything's a game now. Yeah. I mean, nobody gives a flying fuck about anybody but themselves. And, you know, and how dare you tell them that kind of society isn't stable? You know, how dare you tell them that society is based off a society where lying is a norm and deception is a norm? How dare you say that that's not a stable society?
Well, the truth is, it's not a stable society, and it only has one direction to go: to collapse. Whether you believe it or not, your society is collapsing because you are helping it collapse.
They don't even hide that. There's not even an argument of that, man. They don't even deny the fact that the deception and lying in games and playing games is norm in today's society. People won't even deny that. They just talk because it's like it's a completely normal fucking thing. Like it's completely normal to be a pathological liar and to constantly be scheming and plotting against other people. I mean, at the same time, these are the same people that want people lying to them.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want you to lie to them while they're doing it to you. You know, what you have is a society filled full of complete nut jobs, psychopaths, calling anybody that tells them the truth a nut.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they're complicit with the collapse of their own society.
Well, you know what a lot of this goes back to, Bill? You know, a lot of this goes back to, and you can especially take this back to, I would say starting with the baby boomer generation, is fatherless homes. Now, in the early days, it was because the men were sent to go fight the wars, and, you know, that's why they want fathers in the home. These days, is because of a bunch of other stuff. I mean,
yeah, these days,
you know,
it's the division of the genders these days and no-fault divorce and wielding all the power in one gender's hand and placing one gender above.
When you get generations of people, okay, you get a generation of people who had no father in the home. They didn't get the proper discipline they needed, so they're not able to discipline their kids because they were never disciplined, right? So their kids grow up to be grown-up kids, and of course, you know, they never learned discipline because their parents didn't even know discipline. So now they're not going to be able to teach their kids discipline. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse with every passing generation.
Oh, well, you know, Warren, what you said is so accurate. I'll give you an example of a family member, okay? This is how bad it gets. Did you know, Warren, that if you told your little kid to go over and stand in the corner and put their nose in the wall, that is abuse?
Oh, my God, really?
Yes.
That's just called time out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's not even the worst thing. I mean, hell, when I acted out, man, I got a belt on my ass, man. I didn't do it again.
You damn right, man. I got a belt. I got a switch. I made a switch off of a rose bush outside with the pants and underwear down. And you know, nowadays of what I was beat when I was a kid, you did that to a kid, you'd be in jail. Okay? But when it's to the point that you can't even tell your kid to stand in the corner with your nose to the wall for 20 minutes, and that's abuse?
But it's going to get to a point now, you know. I mean, it's already pretty much to the point, man. It's like, hurtful words or abuse. I mean, that's how bad it is. You know, people talking about like gun control, like, and then people will just like, well, next they're going to ban rocks because you can throw them at people. But they're already going lower than that, man. They're already banning what are quote hurtful words. Like, look, I'm not saying that people should deliberately go out and be a dick to people for no reason or anything like that. But at the same time, I mean, this has gotten out of control, man. I mean, number one, I believe in freedom of speech, whether I agree with it or not. Even if I think they're an ignorant douche, they have a right to their opinion.
Yes.
And two, a lot of these cases is just people being overly sensitive little snowflakes and extrapolating shit out of something that they weren't there to begin with.
Yeah, well, the problem's created for us, isn't it? Isn't that how it works?
You know?
Your leaders, your government, you know, your owners, they create the problem that you're having.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
And people just can't see it. Well, no, they didn't create the problem. Yes, they did.
Well, a little bit. They got these think tanks that are dedicated to where they sit there, and these wealthy people, man, they got so much time on their hands because they got all this wealth. They got these think tanks where they go to where they plan out all these things, right? And they even tell you the name of the organization, like Planned Parenthood and things like that. They plan all these things out, right? You look at groups like Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, things like these are groups that back in the 90s, I could have brought these up in the middle of the crowd. People would say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy. No, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a temporal hatter." Right. They don't exist.
You're damn right.
Nowadays, you turn on CNN, they're right there, bro. They have a Bilderberger meeting going on public news with protesters lined up on the outside being kept away by SWAT teams.
Exactly. But what Warren said is correct. In the 90s, if you'd have brought up these names, you was a tinfoil wearing hat nut job, like what VVS is calling us, okay? And now it's opening in your face. So what about all them tinfoil wearing nut jobs, huh? Where are they? How come they were nut jobs when they told you the truth? There it is in your face.
You know?
You know, it's like TFL. We're tinfoil wearing nut jobs because we know it's our own fault because it's always been this way. Bullshit. It's not always been this way. I mean, one of our last comments on this video was, everything happens, okay, that happens now has happened in the past, too. That is correct.
Yeah, because history repeats itself over and over and over and over and over again. And that goes back to what I was saying. Like, there's an old saying, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Dude, they're fooling you over and 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 over again with the exact same fucking script.
They sure the hell do.
Maybe a few little minor deviations here and there, but I mean...
And it's not hard. You know how come it's so easy to fool people over and over and over again? I'll give you one example. Right after World War II ended, the government stepped into the school system and replaced all of the history books. So you're being taught what they want you to know, and then if we wait enough years till people start dying off from a generation, once enough of them people died off, we can start all over again, and you won't even recognize what's going on.
Well, something else is happening too, and I'm kind of picking up on this, man. You got more and more people, especially young folks, that are swaying to either the far left or the far right, and politics is becoming a fashion statement. It's becoming almost like a pot teen trend.
Yeah.
You know, like their convictions aren't even real. They're just picking a team that they identify with on some kind of level and be like, you know, go team.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Did you see that? Warren? That jogger up there in Boston, the female jogger. Okay.
Yeah.
And the guy jogging, and they cut 5 seconds out of the clip where the girl and the guy passed each other, right? And she claims the guy exposed himself to her.
Yeah.
And she's 6 foot tall, and she chased him down and held him and everything, right? And then before the police got there, he got away, right? But the 5 seconds they cut from the video that they're showing the world showed the two of them passing each other. the guy did not expose himself at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was as fraudulent gets.
I mean, this whole thing is just so fucking fake to me. Like, you know, and it really kind of messes with me because, like, you know, I look back when I was 30 years ago when I was a kid, man, and the way I seen the world then versus the way I see it now, man. I mean, I was more naive back then, but I mean, you know, when you're inside that bubble, when you're inside the illusion, you know, you get to live with your comfortable naivety and your comfortable delusions. But I wasn't even comfortable then because I lived a life of TFL, so I started asking questions. And, well, this is where it led me. And in a way, I'm glad I do know, because at least I have clarity and I can arm myself with knowledge. But it's a double-edged sword, man, because once you see this shit, man, it fucks with your head so goddamn bad, man.
It does. It does.
I mean, yeah. You know?
It's sad. Because I wish that these things wouldn't happen. And I would love so bad to see people, especially in the manosphere, take their head out of there. You know what? I've been trying to point this out for a long time to people. The actual cause, the root cause. But it's like nobody wants to hear the root cause. They just want to get up here, bitch and whine and complain, bitch and whine and complain, bitch and whine and complain. And they don't want anything to change.
First off, why would any TFL or INCEL or Forever One, whatever name you want to call it, why would they ever identify with either of the two major political parties? Both of them are staunchly anti-male to begin with. Both of them are.
Yeah.
Both of them. You know, I said before, and I'll say it again, the difference between the feminists and the trad cucks. Feminists, down with the patriarchy, all men are rapists. The trad cuck, little men don't need rights. That's the difference right there.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. It's sad. You know, I would love to see this stuff change, but it's not going to change as long as people don't have care. Because that's right there is a big one. If you can't care about nobody but yourself, it's over. Just think about if all the great inventors that gave you people what you're spoiled to were selfish like you are. You wouldn't have it.
You know? And they keep wanting to peddle this game shit, like oh, it's because you're a personality and because of this and that. And, oh, you learn to improve your... No, you're not. If you're practicing game, you're not improving your personality. I can tell you that right now. You know, just becoming more toxic. You know, it's not going to get you anywhere anyways. I mean, it's just fucking stupid, man. Like, people don't understand. It's like, look, you didn't... It's like, look, all these chats out here, you weren't successful with women because of your personality, because of your confidence, or because of your hard work, or anything like that. You know why you were successful with women? Because of shit that you were fucking born with, that you just happen to fucking win the lottery.
Exactly.
So go ahead and pat yourself on the back. You didn't accomplish shit, you know? It's like, dude, if you would have been born in my goddamn body, you'd see a very different world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if they would have been born 5'5" and aspy, yeah, it'd be a very different world.
Well, it would be. You know, it's just sad because I would love so bad to see things change. And I would love to see people understand this stuff. You know, and I tried so hard. Warren has spoke out so long now, like myself. And he's tried himself to tell people and to tell people, you know, we cannot do anything for you unless you're willing to help yourself. But hey, I've got somebody else with us. And I was just bragging this guy up a while ago on the show. Okay?
Hi.
We have Jay with us. Okay?
Hey.
The young man from the United Kingdom, who I told everybody has more knowledge in his little pinky than VS has in his whole body right now.
Yeah. And, you know, the sad thing about that is the knowledge is so public and out there now that everyone can sort of get it at a click of a few buttons. They just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I guess
well,
comfort in lies is better than hard
it
truths.
It actually is, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Because it's like I was telling Jay here. See, VVS now is recently he's launched criticism against
Hmm?
Steve Hoke and myself, calls us nut
Well,
jobs and conspiracy theorists, tinfoil wearing and nut jobs, and how dare us attack Monday Forever Alone.
I thought Hoka was buddies with VVS. Like,
Well,
I mean,
there
they
you
did
go.
a few live streams together.
That's the kind of buddy that VVS really is, isn't he?
Yeah, I can understand them saying that about you, but not Hoka. You know.
Here's the thing: we never once said anything bad about. Nobody's ever said anything bad about VVS, right, or any of those people, right? But here's the thing:
Yeah.
you know, it's funny how they want to sit there and say, "Oh, well, the conspiracy theories that, conspiracy theories, oh, conspiracy theories." Or when I'm sitting, we're more tolerant of people who, because I get this all the time. You just want people who don't think like you do. Well, I'm not calling people. I'm not bashing people. I'm not sitting here pigeonholing people because they're not awake to politics or the New World Order or what's going on or how the stage show.
Yes.
Okay. But yet, when we don't even talk about that, we're purely talking about TFL. They're calling they're slamming on us and calling us conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. Well, the first comment came at me from Wolf Martin telling me that he was watching a live stream from VVS where he said that Steve Hoke and Bill Greathouse, myself, that our material is boring and that we're conspiracy theorists. And then Warren calls me, and I guess he went after me again and said I'm a nut job, a conspiracy theorist, and I have no right going after Monday Forever on Monday. That I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean.
And so
because George Bush and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Tony Blair and Bill Clinton and all these people, man, they're all conspiracy theorists, Bill.
Yeah, I know. The tinfoil wearing
They're all
nut
conspiracy
jobs.
theorists.
And no vote of forces is fair. Like, that's equal, right? That's fair for both genders. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's
no
not an
fault
unfair
divorce
law.
is really fair. I mean, it's so evenly laid out, right?
Yeah. The people who wrote that law in the being have our best interests at heart. They just want a fair society. That's why they wrote that law, because it's about equality.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And for VVS over there, here's the 21-year-old man. It's your age bracket that I told you has more intelligence in his little pinky than you do your whole body. Because all you're doing is sitting there bitching and whining and bitching and whining. And I feel sad because when I first listened to VVS, I thought, here's a young man with some intelligence. But then when I went to a live stream and I left comments after comments, he ignored me like the plague, so then I knew he didn't like me, right? Even though he was on Steve Hoke's show, he wouldn't acknowledge me at all. So I thought, okay, whatever. So I left him alone. I've never heard no one's thoughts towards him or anything like what Warren just said. But here he is attacking me.
Here's our society in a nutshell today, right? It's like, here's today's dysfunctional society. Some people want to use you, some people want to be used by you, some people want to abuse you, and some people want to be abused. Everything is a fucking game, bro. Everything. And it's like one big S&M orgy where only a few guys and a whole bunch of women get to participate. I mean,
It's messed up.
Yeah, sorry guys, I just cut out there, but I'm back now. I just swapped Wi-Fi networks, but I'm back now. Just
okay.
Saying.
Well, you're here.
If I was ignored you or something.
No, you didn't.
I couldn't hear. Sorry, just putting that out there.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what were you saying now, more?
It is. It's like all like our society today is like one big S&M orgy about all this sub and dom shit. I mean, really, me and Bill spoke about this before. The way this works out is you got submissive women and dominant women, right? And either way, she's in the power seat, really. I mean, but like it's almost like the right wing and the left wing of the fucking dating scene in a way. I mean, not political, but social. I mean, like a submissive woman is going to want like more like your typical trad cuck type of guy or something like that, right? Whereas, or they're going to want, you know, your traditional, your strong alpha male type. Whereas you know,
the dominant woman.
The dominant woman is going to want more like your beta submissive, like Chad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, she wants
you know
the guy that she can rule, that she can control.
He's still got to be good looking, but I mean,
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But you just got to remember when I talk about things I talk about the genders, I never say it's 100% across the board because it never has been. There are still some good women out here that don't go with the traditions to see, but it's like finding an egg in a dinosaur, you know.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening now because of all this reaction, all this red pill shit, which is pretty much like the blue pill now. I mean, what's happening now, man? Let me explain this, okay? The nice guys and the bad boys are changing places because what's happened is a lot of the formerly nice guys that were getting shat on or waking up and getting blackpilled now aren't so nice anymore, right? Now we're becoming the bad boys, and the former bad boys that were the ones that were let in on society, now they're becoming the quote unquote nice guys. Now they got all these women that are looking for simps. They're looking for good looking simps.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I remember like there was this girl at my school, and she was like 14 years old at the time. I was 14, and you know, she was telling me this story about how her uncle was in trouble because his wife was threatening to divorce him. And you know, at 14 years old, she knew just how fucked it was that went through. So I mean, that just goes to show how much the men are sort of under the thumb.
Well, they are. I mean, you know, I've said this before, and this is the reality that people don't understand. If you got a married couples tend to frequent and hang with other married couples. Okay? So you could be married for 10, 15, 20 years, and you hang around your married couple friends, right? Now, if the woman decides to go out and cheat behind your back while you're at work, and she replaces you and goes to no-fault divorce and throws you away, right? As we know happens all the time. All of the married couples, men and women alike, will side with the woman and take that guy and throw him under the bus. It will be his fault behind his back his wife cheated on him.
Yes, it will. Let me drop, again, some psychology because I'm really digging into the dialectic shit here today, man.
Yeah.
If you're more the traditional husband, stay at home, you know, while you're working to take care of your wife, she's got free time on her hand while you're working your ass off. What do you think she's going to do if she's got all these other men that are hitting on her? If you're a liberal guy and you got a wife who's a career woman, how much shit are you having to put up with, goddammit, because you got a strong and empowered woman, but even though she can make just as much money as you make, yet she don't have to spend any of her money on taking care of herself. Well, no, her money is just free to spend on whatever the fuck. You know, she'll spend your money for that shit, right? I mean, I see this shit all the damn time.
That's it.
And you know, those women too, because they're sexually liberated, are just as likely to cheat on you.
Oh yeah, they are. They are. You know, I got a new thing that I'm doing here with Heather's mother now. You know, what's going to happen is I'm collecting her texts from Heather's phone. So when she PMs Heather on her phone and starts badmouthing me again, Heather's copying and pasting it over to me, and I'm going to put it in a log file. And then I'm going to go up under a video that I made for her, and I'm going to start posting her attacks to her daughter and me, okay, so everybody can see what she's actually doing, you know. And her cousin was on the phone and says, that's a good idea, because now you're actually recording the evidence of what she's doing. I says, that's the idea, because if you don't show the world what she's actually doing, she's just going to continue to lie and manipulate, keep doing it.
Yeah. But yo, man, I mean, I hate to do this, man, but I gotta go. I gotta call my boy up, man, get me a bag of weed, man.
Oh, okay. Well, you go get me a bag of weed. I mean, you a bag of weed.
Yeah. I'll get back with y'all guys later, though.
Okay, Warren. No guarantee I'll be here, but I'm here right now, and Thanks for being here,
Yeah.
Warren. And
Yeah, you're
Jay,
Take care, man.
You too, man. Bye.
okay.
Cheers.
And I got Jay here yet. I appreciate Jay calling in. I tried to call you before the show, but couldn't get a hold of you. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think my Zoom's been acting, weird lately. I haven't been getting any notifications from it. So,
well, yeah, I know. Well, yesterday
I
I fucking started a live feed doing it the other way, and I got my show got cut right in the middle talking, and it was an error box, and then there was a link put in the chat box. Okay, a link showed up in my chat box that's not in the chat box from the recording. I copy and pasted that link to a browser and opened it, and it's a new form of censorship. It's a layout of
Yeah.
rules that you have to comply to use a webcam.
Wow. So is that to do with the Zoom program, or is that just to do with the
No,
web?
that's just going through Google. If I was doing just my webcam live streams, okay, now Google has created rules for what you're allowed to use your webcam for on their platform.
Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse, isn't it?
So what it is more censorship. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's more ways of looking to shut people up because they don't want the truth told.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite ridiculous. I think that.
So yeah, they
I thought
censored
censorship
my
was bad enough.
show. They censored my show and gave me that link yesterday. So I came back up through the OBS studio and did a short one with Dave. But that's not the point. The point is, if you believe that you got your First Amendment right in the United States to talk openly and say how you feel, you better take your head out of you know what.
Yeah.
Because when they censor you, this does not mean you have your First Amendment. This means your very leaders you're standing by are taking your rights away from you.
Sickening. Absolutely sickening. It's so fucked up.
Go ahead, Dwayne Holloway show up. Yes,
Yeah.
Dwayne Holloway showed up. And like always, the master of psychological warfare done told on himself.
Yeah. It's pretty funny, isn't it?
So, hey, that's a good idea there. I mean, illusion is over. He says he's going to leave a link under the video about some action being taken against YouTube. Well, that would be good. I think people need to start taking action against Google. Okay, because they're nothing but a criminal entity. And they're going to take your rights to your freedom of speech away from you because we're doing nothing about it. I got censored yesterday and my live stream was cut. And I was only like 18 minutes in, and suddenly when it went up, it was only 15 minutes long. Okay? And the link that was put into my chat box was no longer there. So they didn't want the public to see that link. YouTube put that link in the chat that only I could access. And when I opened it up, I was like, what the hell is this? And I was on a Google page, and then it had the categories at the top, and I clicked the category. It was all webcam related. And I clicked on the categories for the webcam, and lo and behold, if we didn't write up a whole new documentation of censorship, rules to what you're allowed to use your webcam for on Google.
Just wow, man. Just wow. Like, I didn't think it could get any more fucked up than it already is.
So here we go again. I was like, well, congratulations, criminals. I see you're back at it again. Of course you are. These scumbags over there in Silicon Valley that are collecting the tool to destroy the world, they're too stupid to understand when the whole agenda's done. These people that are giving you that nice, wealthy income will be the very people that will cope and kill you first to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
So you will play complicit, collect your money, your tool, And they will just give you your tool because they just print it out of thin air anyhow. And then when they're through using you, they will do what they've always done because history replays itself over and over and over. And so for all of you dummies over there in Silicon Valley, YouTube, you better understand when they're through with you, you will be killed first to keep your mouth shut.
I reckon a lot of these people probably think inside their heads that that time's like 50 years off. They're not aware of how, close it's coming, and they think they'll have a good life, and
Yeah,
that'll be
they're
their
thinking
children's
about their
problem.
selfish self again and not caring about their children. And they're not realizing if they're not very old, let's just say you're 25 years old working for Silicon Valley at YouTube, and you're up here helping them do their agenda. Well, about 2030, 2035, in around that area, if they get their wants, they'll have it in place. They'll be done with you. So how will you be then, huh? You want to think about that a little bit? You might be 40, 45 years old. And suddenly you find yourself being prosecuted and killed because you're a threat to them because you complied with their orders and you have too much information they don't want you telling the public because they're getting rid of you. So they get rid of you. They know you're going to run your mouth. So they'll get rid of you the other way. They'll kill your ass and you won't be running your mouth. So I hope this good money they're paying you was worth your life because you're literally paying to be killed.
I think at Silicon Valley as well, though, they import in a lot of foreign people, not from the USA. Like, there's a lot of scholarships or whatever to go and work there from UK and India and all these other countries. So maybe that they're thinking they'll be able to get out and go back home before it all collapses, and they'll be safe in their country, not realizing
Not realizing,
that it's going to affect every country.
it's affecting all countries, and they're not smart enough to figure that out. I mean, the only good thing Monday for Everyone Monday did in that video on the incels and your pre-birth, or not your pre-birth, but your immature, because you were born too soon or something, The only good thing he did was read that list of countries. If NWO didn't exist, how did that list of countries get there?
Oh yeah, that was just a big red flag to me that all these countries are coming together to try and justify research proving why TFL is sort of just natural. And
I know.
Do it too.
That's really what they're doing, is they're trying to justify how TFL is a normal thing that's always happened, when that's a complete crock of crap. That's why I said go back a few years back. I was going to go back about 3-4 decades. If I went back about 3 to 4 decades ago, you would find out that 90% of the men on this planet had somebody in their life.
Yeah, even like serial killers and stuff, like some really fucked up men.
Yes.
Had wives.
90% of all men had somebody in their life. And now here we are 40, 50 years later, and now we have 80 to 90% of the men that can't even get a woman in their life.
Yeah, and you can't be telling me that these serial killers have better mental health or confidence or whatever the fuck than people today.
Well, it's all BS. They keep feeding BS, and that's what Warren and I were talking about with Monday for Everyone Monday. The guy's sitting there in the driving seat telling you all of everything that means nothing, leading you down the rabbit hole to blaming yourself. That's all he's doing. He's not helping you. He's helping you to convince yourself that it's your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I think the birth rates are below replacement level, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they're like some of the lowest birth rates in fucking history. So, I mean, that's enough proof that the whole problem is global. It's affecting everyone.
It's in people's face. It really is. But, Jay, it's like I told before. I told you this. I was really impressed with you, and I give you the speaking that I do because you've earned it. Okay?
Yeah,
and I was really impressed with you. And, I wish VVS was more like you, willing to look and see what's going on. But, I never attacked the guy, but here he is attacking me and Steve Hoka. Okay, so, what can I do? What can I say? But if I'm a conspiracy theorist and a nut job, the only nut job would be VVS himself.
Yeah, he had no right to call you out like that, I don't think. Especially since you've caused him no harm. You haven't went after him or done nothing.
No, though this is what I've dealt with for so long, and this is what people do, but at least he did it on a video form. You know, Jerry did it behind the scenes. Jerry did it on Zoom when we wasn't doing a video or live for anybody to see. That's how
Yeah.
Jerry did it. That's how Rhonda did it. They didn't want the world to see what they were actually doing.
I guess VVS's whole take on the whole thing is then that it's just human nature or something. Female nature, he probably thinks.
Yeah, he probably thinks this is all normal, that there's nothing going on. This is just normal behavior. When there's nothing
Yeah.
normal about this at all.
No, there's nothing normal about a lot of women choosing to like become single mothers and rule independently and all of this nonsense. That's not normal at all.
No, there's nothing normal about it. I just wish I could get that through people's heads.
Even the fact that, you know, only the top 20 or 30% are considered attractive, I mean, that's really not normal. That's just biologically incorrect, because like, how would people have reproduced in the past if only the top 20% of men were desirable for the last 2,000 years whenever we've had marriage and monogamy?
Yeah, and this guy says over in the Netherlands, it's 1.4 children for whites.
Yeah, the Netherlands has been hit hard. I mean, terribly hard.
It's sad. I mean, you know, but this is what it is, you know, and that's why I tell people you need to listen to Mark Pastel. Even though I understand the guy's an agent, I can't back it, but I'll guarantee he is. Okay? Because he's in the need to know to have knowledge that I don't care if he says he was Satanism or not. Okay? A part of the occult, you have to question how did he become part of the occult? How did you get involved in that? See, you don't talk about that. It's like David Icke.
No.
I was in a bookstore and it just came to me. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? No, bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? No, that's not true. What is true is these guys are in the know. They're working with
Yeah.
people that are in the know. And they are telling you the truth in a lot of areas. Okay? But you do got to be careful because I've caught David Icke feeding propaganda, and of course he is. He's going to tell 80, 90% truth, and he's going to throw a lie in here and a lie in there. Just like Mark Pastel. No different. But it's the truth that you need to hear. Because the truth that they're spilling is just like Warren when he talked about Huxley. In the 50s, he openly in an interview told everybody everything, A Brave New World. Even wrote the book. And everything came through. He's not a magic psychic. He was in the need to know from the powers to be, like David Icke, like Mark Pastel.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what's going on, you got to listen to these guys to get it.
Even with people like Mark Pastel and all, they have so many subscribers and they're talking about so many topics that I've heard of smaller channels discuss, and then these channels get pulled down for hate speech, even though they're talking about the exact same thing that Pastel and Icke are talking about. And, you know, it's clear that the hate speech law doesn't apply to, it's not a universal law, it doesn't apply to all channels. Some channels can do the hate speech, and that's fine, but if others do it on the same topic, that's hate speech.
Montygraph was another good example of that. The guy had lots of subscribers. The guy does things that other people get taken down right away for. And he just does it over and over, and his channel's never been touched. Okay, that's because he is in that position like Roy Potter. See, I can name off a whole list of agents that I know are agents. YouTube is loaded with agents.
And the way you can tell is you can have some channels that don't break any of YouTube's terms and conditions, but these channels get taken down. And then you have so many channels breaking YouTube's terms and conditions that somehow you've managed to stay up with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right?
Yes. And they'll stay up because they're actually being paid to do what they're doing. And the majority of all of your agents, the reason they're here is they're being paid to keep the problem alive. To keep the problem going because it's the agenda.
Terms and conditions are just a joke, man. They just take you down if they don't like what you're saying. You know?
I just don't know how to get it through people's heads, but I'm not going to stay up here much longer, Jay. I've already been here
Yeah.
about an hour and 40 minutes.
That's a long time to be talking
Yeah.
about it.
So, you know, and I know this Saturday here, it works out, Joe will be here. And if Jay's here, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be an hour later for Jay now. 9 o'clock my time, 12 o'clock noon for Joe, and what is that, like 3 a.m. for you?
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah, you may have to go to bed early and set an alarm to get up.
Yeah. I remember the last time I did a live stream, I had to go to bed really early the next day. You know, like 8 o'clock or something. I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What you might want to do for Saturday then is go to bed earlier, set an alarm,
Yeah.
get up so you got a few hours sleep in before you do the live stream. And then
Yeah,
get yourself back up so you got a little bit of shut eye, you know. I remember last time it was dark and then it was daylight. Did a 3-hour
Yeah.
live stream and it was daylight. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I was also pretty drunk in the last live stream, so at the end I wasn't really able to say what I wanted to say. Like, you know, whenever I sobered up a bit, I remembered I have a buddy in Egypt who has relatives who went through the Egyptian sort of collapse, and you know, he was basically telling me the reality of what happens to people in these economic collapses. Like his uncle or whatever, you know, owns a lot of land in Egypt. You know, they're very wealthy, so they came to the UK like in the 1970s or 80s or something, because back then you had to actually be rich to come to the United Kingdom if you were from Africa or whatever. So what happened to this guy's uncle was, once the collapse happened, all these squatters moved in, like these armed militias came in and just took his land off him. And then he went, there's no police whenever it collapses. So he asked, you know, he tries to get them off the land. You know, he says he's like the landowner, and they just point their gun at him and tell him to, you know, piss off, basically. You know?
Well, that's it. You know, when a collapse happens, they're going to let things go out of control. And they're going to watch people kill each other off. Then when they're ready and decide they want to, after they allow bloodshed on the streets, then they'll move the military in and take back over. And people will
Yeah.
lose everything they have.
Yeah, because this guy owned a couple of petrol stations. He owned a lot of land, and he lost all his land just like that. Just like that, like in a couple of years. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And you know, that's where the United States is headed. If these people, and it's around the world, it's going to be a domino effect. You're going to see the United States fall, and then it's just going to be like dominoes, and it's just going to go around the world. And you know, and you got to see it with right there in your face with Monday, Fervent Love Monday, when he read that list of countries. I want you to stand down and up for each one of them countries and put them just far enough apart when you push one over and knocks the rest down, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to happen so fast. Like, I remember he was over in Egypt like 5 years ago, and everything was, you know, fine. But now he like can't go there anymore because it's too dangerous. You know, it's crazy how quick it happened.
Yeah. But
And
hey,
that exact same thing's coming here. But anyway, yeah.
I appreciate you being here, Jay. If you want to stay on, go ahead and stay on Zoom. I'm just going to cut the live stream. Okay?
All right.
And so as far as the live stream goes, guys, I'm out of here for now. I'll be back here up live Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, okay, in the United States. And the rest of you people around the world can figure out what time it'll be for you. I know in Israel it'll be at 12 o'clock noon. Or not Israel. Why did I say that? Australia. Let's get that right. Why did I say that forbidden place? Okay, so in Australia it'll be 12 o'clock noon. And where Jay's at over there, it'll be like 3 in the morning. So, and accordingly, around the United States Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Saturday night, I'll be here. With that being said, I'm out of here.